Hey guys, my name is Omar Sevilla from San Diego Miramar College. I've been teaching here since 2005. Now we're going to go ahead and talk about some of the components in the valve train. Once that camshaft starts rotating, the lobes in the camshaft are actually going to start pushing on. In this engine, the Toyota 2GR is going to be pushing on these rockers. They're kind of floating rockers. They're not fastened to the engine. Really, it's the spring tension and the camshaft that are kind of holding them in position. These are roller rockers. They have a roller built into them. So a couple things I'm looking for here is I'm looking for the roller, any witness marks or damage to the roller, scratches. These things look brand new. Anytime there's a machine surface, I like to slide my fingernail across it if I can feel any gouges or scratches. And then we have a dimple here where the push rod or lifter would go. And in that dimple, you're just looking for any hard spots or wear marks where it might be wearing unevenly. And then the flat spot on this side is the side that pushes on the valve. As this camshaft pushes on this rocker, it's going to move in that motion there. So you just want to make sure that everything looks good, like it's not going to break or fail in the future here. These are brand new components. Many of these engines that we work on here are new. In between the valve and the rocker is this little valve stem cap. So this thing's pretty small. It's about the size of a pencil eraser. So this is the smooth side that goes onto the, makes contact with the rocker arm. The other side's got a little pocket where it goes into the valve stem. So here, again, we're just looking for any abnormal wear. You can compare it to the other components in the engine to identify that. One of the things about these little valve stem caps is those components over time, with the heat, expansion, pressure, and the constant reciprocation, they can wear out. And I actually had a push rod one time. When I pulled it apart, it looked perfectly fine, but when I pushed it with my finger, it kind of crumbled. Because the pressure from the valve spring and the camshaft were actually holding those pieces, the broken pieces, together. So luckily I was rebuilding the engine when I found that, and it didn't have a catastrophic outcome. So the other piece here in the valve train for the Toyota 2GR engine is we have these hydraulic lifters or tappets. So what these do is these collapse like so. And what they have here is they have this little hole on the side. That little hole on the side actually gets oil pressure from the engine's oiling system. And what that does is it fills this cavity with oil in this lifter, and then this lifter will push and take up any valve lash that's in the valve train system so that we have a nice quiet valve train and there's no rattling or noises, and it allows the valve to open to the proper amount. So to inspect these lifters, one of the things we need to do is, besides looking at the machine surfaces for smoothness and checking the rounded surface for damage or cracks or anything like that, one of the other things we need to do is make sure this thing can hold oil pressure. So you see I can collapse this guy. That's fine. There's no oil in this lifter. These lifters here have been filled with oil. So you see when I push on these, it collapses maybe a ½ millimeter, but that's it. It's got oil in it. So I'm going to show you how we check these lifters to make sure they're going to hold oil pressure. Toyota has a special tool that it pushes on a check valve here. I don't have that tool. I'm going to use this pin. Down inside this hole here, there's a little check valve, and if I'm centered perfectly, I can push on that check valve and I can feel it open and close. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my oiling hole upwards, and I'm going to dunk this in some oil. And then as I collapse that, it's going to push air bubbles out. And then when the air bubbles are done coming out, I'm going to remove it from the oil and make sure that this thing has pumped up and will not collapse. There we go. Now that one's nice and solid. So that lifter accepted the oil. So then I would go through and I would check the rest of my lifters to make sure that they are holding oil pressure, so we have a nice tight valve train.
This concludes our video. Thanks for watching, and please be sure to check out our social medias. Until next time.